Hello, second grade Smarties, and welcome to iReady Math Lesson 17, video number 2. So today we are going to continue measuring length with rulers. So we are going to measure with inches and centimeters today. So we are on page 162 and 163 in our instruction book. So go ahead and pause the video and get open to those pages and we will start measuring. All right, so page 162, it says read the problem, then you will look at ways to measure. It says Aaron wants to measure the length of a sheet of notebook paper. What is the length in inches? So the first thing we could use is 1-inch tiles to find length. So to measure that, we would lay the piece of paper flat on a flat surface, not a bumpy surface, a flat surface. And we would line up the edge of the paper with the first tile. Now look at these tiles. Notice that they are side to side. Their sides are the only thing that are touching. They are not overlapped. They are not spaced. They are touching side to side. So we would line up the left edge of the paper with the first tile and then line the tiles up side to side to the right end of the paper. Okay, we could also use a ruler to find the length. So we would line up the edge of the paper with the 0 on the inch ruler. Now look at the difference in how they measured. When you use a ruler, not all of the objects that you measure are going to be 12 inches long. So you will have to be precise with lining up the right edge to whatever inch it lands on. So on number 2, on page 163, it says, look at the first measure it. How many inch tiles are used? So let's go to the first one, and they used 1-inch tiles to measure. Let's count how many tiles they used. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. They used 11 1-inch tiles. Number 3 says, look at the second measure it. What is the length of the paper? Okay, so when we are measuring the length with a ruler, we start with the 0. And then where did we end our measurement? Ooh, how many inches? 11 inches. All right, so was it the same as the first measure it? Yes, but let's look at number 4. It says, do you think it is easier to measure with tiles or a ruler? Now, we didn't use the tiles or the ruler, but which one is going to be easier to use? What do you think? I think the ruler would be easier. Why? Because I'm just using one ruler stick. With the tiles, I would have to get 11 different tiles and measure them side to side and make sure it's exact. With a ruler, I just line it up edge to edge. So I'm going to say a ruler is easier, because you only use one tool. So we only use one tool. Whereas if we use the tiles, we would have had to use 11 tools, right? We would have had to use 11 tiles. Let's look at number 5. It says, would the length of the paper be the same if you measured it using a yardstick? Why or why not? So yesterday we talked about how a yardstick can measure in inches. Do you remember how many inches are on a yardstick? 36 inches or 3 feet. So, could we use a yardstick? That would be 3 rulers put together side to side. Could we use a yardstick to measure? What do you think? Pause the video and answer this question on your own, or talk about it with someone around you. Talk about it with your brother or sister or a cousin or an aunt or uncle or grandparent or parent. Talk about what you think. Could you use a yardstick to measure the paper? Yes, because yardsticks also measure in inches. It's going to be a really long tool to measure a small piece of paper, but you could use a yardstick because it still measures in inches. So I could say yes, because yardsticks. Whoa, I don't need an ES. I just need an S. Yardsticks measure in inches. And that does have a suffix ES. All right, let's look at numbers 6 and 7. There we go. All right, now we are going to measure with centimeters. Now remember, we talked about how a ruler, it can have centimeters and inches, and they're going to be separated, okay? So we are going to measure a key with centimeter tiles. So it says, look at the centimeter tiles. The key has a length of blank centimeters. How many centimeters tiles are there to measure the length of the key? There are 5 tiles, so that would be 5 centimeters. It says, look at the centimeter ruler. The key has a length of 5 centimeters, so it has the same length. Which tool would be easier to use, the tiles or the centimeter ruler? The ruler, right? Because it's just one tool that I could use to measure end to end. All right, and just like the inches, Smarties, you start with measuring at the 0. So you would line up the left end of the key to the 0 and measure the length at the right end. All right, Smarties. So remember, as always, when you are measuring, you have to be exact. You have to be precise. All right, Smarties, remember to keep that growth mindset. Good learners do hard things, and I will see you very soon with another measuring lesson. Happy learning, Smarties.